Agro-tourism is growing in Oklahoma, and one local wildlife park says they want to use it to bring more people to the northeastern part of the state. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the details.
A new poll finds that more Americans are worried about the economy and inflation. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll tell you who they're blaming coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. Authorities arrest a man suspected of robbing a Joplin bank last week. On May 9th, officers responded to a report of a panic alarm being set off at Great Southern Bank. When they arrived, they learned the bank had been robbed. Authorities identified Vincent Gepson right there of Anderson, Missouri as a suspect. They say Gepson allegedly entered the bank, demanded money, then fled. Police today announced that Gepson was located in Crowley, Louisiana, and was arrested on a federal warrant for bank robbery. Oklahoma man is dead after a crash in Ottawa County. Authorities say 45-year-old Kevin Backward was traveling south on State Highway 125. He then went off the road into a ditch. Authorities say the vehicle rolled 2.5 times before coming to a stop on its top. Emergency crews took Backward to a hospital where he later was pronounced dead. Kansas Supreme Court has ruled in favor of Pittsburgh native and philanthropist Gene Bicknell in a dispute over income taxes. His legal fight with the state centered on whether he lived in Kansas or Florida when he sold his company, NPC International, back in 2006. The state argued Bicknell lived in Kansas, therefore he owed state income tax. Bicknell paid $48 million in taxes, interest, and penalties. In 2019, the District Court of Crawford County ordered the state to return the money to Bicknell. The state appealed, and the decision was reversed in 2021 by the Kansas Court of Appeals. Well, today, the state's highest court sided with Bicknell, saying he lived in Florida at the time, and that reinstated the district court's ruling. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joining us now. Some storms making their way through the area tonight?
Yeah, we're getting some scattered thunderstorms popping up outside for us right now, and that's going to be the trend as we go through the overnight hours. Good news here is most of these are just going to be moderate to strong storms, just good old storms. Very low severe threat, 85 for a high. Normal high is 78 degrees. Not much through the evening, and then you can see all these showers and thunderstorms kind of popping up over the past couple hours. Most of these are on the north side of the cold front, so that's why they don't really have a severe threat. Any severe thunderstorms would stay in our far southern counties. These last into the weekend as well. We're going to break it all down for you here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. Joplin police say wind gusts today might have been a factor when the semi-trailer overturned on the westbound ramp to I-44 from Missouri 43. The truck was hauling recycled metal when it tipped over. A wind advisory was in effect for part of the day as gusts reached 45 miles an hour. Well, a new safari wildlife park opened in Wyandotte, Oklahoma. KOM's Bronte Sorotsky has more.
The Creation Safari Wildlife Park has a variety of animals for people from all over to see, contributing not just to the local tourism, but for tourism for the state as well.
People come here that might not otherwise came to this area, and then they see other things they would like to do.
Tim Sappington, owner and director of the Wildlife Park in Wyandotte, Oklahoma, says his park contributes to agro-tourism in the Sooner State.
Agritourism is where people take their family farm and they basically open it up to the public to educate the public about what they do.
They've only been open to the public for about 7 weeks and have seen people come in from all over Oklahoma and the 4 states.
We have people as far as 4 hours away already drive here. A lot of people within an hour to 2 hours have came. And then of course all of our local people.
Sappington says he hopes to see his wildlife park bring more attention to Ottawa County and Wyandotte.
People come here that might not otherwise came to this area, and then they see other things they would like to do.
The park has a variety of wildlife that's hard to come by in most parts of the state. Sappington says he thinks it's important for people in the community to get to experience something like this.
It's been amazing. We have had an overwhelming response from the community. Lots of great reviews of everybody that's been here. It's been amazing. I do. I think it's a needed thing for our community.
Most importantly, Sappington says he just hopes to share his family's dedication and interest of animals with anyone interested in checking it out. In Wyandotte, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The Creation Safari Wildlife Park is open Fridays and Saturdays from 9 to 4. With Memorial Day coming up next week, some local kids took to the river today to learn about water safety, something important, right? Big Elk Floats and Camping partnered with Knoll Elementary, so students had the chance to learn the fundamentals of being in and around a canoe. Organizers say this program is going to help people learn how to safely operate a canoe and to know the dangers of the river to avoid accidents.
So we just teach them all kinds of things, what to do with if a storm is coming up, if lightning is popping close to you. We teach them, all kinds of scenarios to deal with danger.
The organizers say their goal is to have 0 drownings in 2022. Local Joplin restaurant presented a donation to the Joplin Police Department. Old Chicago Pizzeria and Tap Room donated over $8,000 to the families impacted from the shooting that killed 2 officers and injured 1 in March. The business combined 20% of sales from April 26th through the 28th and donations from guests and local businesses. KOAM is partnering with other TV stations in Missouri for a series of polls on a variety of topics. The online surveys were conducted last week by Survey USA. So far, we've looked at voting preferences, the economy, abortion, recreational marijuana, police pay, also education. Tonight, we wrap up our series with a look at some specific political questions. Close to 1,800 registered voters were polled on questions centering around current political members and possible candidates. Do you approve or disapprove of the job that Joe Biden is doing as president? 49% of total respondents disapprove, 21% somewhat approve, 13% somewhat disapprove, 12% strongly approve, and 4% are not sure. 54% of white respondents chose strongly disapprove, compared to 43% of other race respondents and 11% of black respondents. 85% of Republican respondents strongly disapprove, while 46% of independent voter respondents and 8% of Democrat respondents disapprove. 35% of total respondents somewhat approve of the job Mike Parson is doing as governor, 21% strongly disapprove, 18% somewhat disapprove, 13% are not sure, and 12% strongly approve. Thinking ahead to the 2024 election for president, if Donald Trump and Joe Biden were candidates, who would you vote for? 50% of total respondents picked Donald Trump, 35% sided with Joe Biden, and 15% were undecided. 89% of Republican voters picked Donald Trump. 42% of independent voter respondents would vote for Trump, compared to 30% of independent voter respondents who would vote for Biden. You can visit our website for many more details of this voting poll and other polls. KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. The Oklahoma legislature has approved a bill requiring public school students to use only the bathroom of the sex listed on their birth certificate. Supporters say the bill is all about common sense and calls for separate multi-use bathrooms. Opponents, though, argue it targets transgender students who want to use bathrooms where they feel comfortable. It now goes to Governor Kevin Stitt, who is expected to sign the legislation. President Biden focusing on foreign policy as he makes his first trip as president to Asia. Here at home, the economic woes are adding up, with stubborn inflation, high gas prices, a critical baby formula shortage, leading to the lowest poll numbers of his presidency. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively reports now from Washington.
For the first stop on his Asian tour, President Biden got a look at a Samsung computer chip factory, the model for a $17 billion plant set to be built in Texas.
This investment will create 3,000 new high-tech jobs in Texas and add to 20,000 jobs Samsung already supports.
President Biden spoke in South Korea, but his message was also targeting an American audience struggling with inflation, a baby formula shortage, and gas prices that hit a national average of $4.59 on Friday.
Gas prices have risen literally every month since Joe Biden took office.
Federal data out this month shows that Americans are also paying 10% more for food than a year ago.
If you think the current food price increases are painful, I think they're just starting.
Those higher prices are helping drive the president's approval ratings lower. A new Associated Press poll finds that 67% of Americans disapprove of his handling of the economy. But one economist says the president isn't the one to blame.
95% of what happens in the economy with growth, with inflation, etc., has nothing to do with the White House. It's all driven in the private sectors.
That AP poll found that President Biden's overall approval rating stands at 39%, the lowest of his presidency. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. John Sheppel served in the U.S. Marines from 1960 to 1969, stationed in Vietnam. He earned numerous awards, including a Purple Heart. And we are proud to thank and salute John Sheppel, native of Iola, Kansas. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later the Carl Junction girls soccer team aiming for redemption in tomorrow's district championship. We got the story in sports.
At Aaron Sachs.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another mild, kind of muggy day for us across the region. Temperatures right back up into the 80s for afternoon highs. We've seen this trend pretty much over the past few days. So warm, so muggy. We are actually going to cool down a little bit over the next few days. Let me show you why. It's a cold front that has been shifting through. See the wind shift line, Mount Vernon, Neosho to Grand Lake. Everybody north of that has a north wind and is cooling down. We have mid 60s. Now, any thunderstorms that fire north of this front, they could be moderate storms. It could even be strong storms, but most likely not severe. Any severe storms will stay along and south of that front. But look at the front marching through over the past several hours and continues to head south. It will put on the brakes and kind of stall in our southern counties as we go through the next few hours. Outside 75, a northerly wind at about 5 to 10. Humidity is at 76%. Showers, thunderstorms increasing, but look where they're increasing, north of the front. So these are just going to be moderate to good storms, but they are going to be pretty widely covered across the region. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in Delaware County, our far southern counties. That's the only place that really should pick up any severe weather. But if we go ahead and zoom in, you can see all these little popcorn thunderstorms from Fort Scott, Nevada, over toward Lamar, Girard, Pittsburgh, Parsons, Erie, Iola, Yates Center, all the way down just to the west of Coffeyville. And these will continue to get going. And then we'll see kind of what gets going down in this severe thunderstorm zone and kind of shifts into southwestern Missouri as we go through the next several hours. Let's go through time. Thunderstorms pop up. The bigger guys in our southern counties, that's where we have a severe threat. Anything that would be severe, we're talking about gusty winds and some large hail. Everybody else would continue with these scattered thunderstorms, but they could produce some heavy amounts of rain. Severe threat gone after midnight. Still, we could get some strong guys in here. So that's why I said most of these moderate to strong, maybe low grade severe, but some heavy amounts of rain. Look at our temps. We drop back eventually into the 50s. So this is the morning. Thunderstorms will start to work out late morning and then kind of pop up again as we head into the afternoon hours. So if you want to do outdoor activities this weekend, Sunday is the day to do it, not really tomorrow. 64 by noon, we drop back to about 58 during the afternoon. All right, we start to clear out tomorrow night. Kind of cool. Drop back low to mid 40s, and then Sunday looks pretty good. Mid 60s, we'll see plenty of sunshine across the region. Clouds increase again Sunday night into Monday, and guess what? Here comes more rain across the region by the time we head into early next week. So thunderstorms tonight, could be kind of a loud night. 64 tomorrow, 64 on Sunday. Hold in the 60s most of next week, showers and thunderstorms. So kind of chilly heading into Memorial Weekend.
That's a good term, popcorn thunderstorms.
Yeah, they're just popping up everywhere. Yeah.
We'll see a little bit.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, a key ruling.
A federal judge set to make a critical decision on a Trump-era policy that's allowed border officials to quickly turn away migrants. I'm Mather Rivera in Washington with more on what that decision could mean coming up.
First, here's a look at our tower camera, sponsored by R.E. Smith Construction as work continues on the KOAM More Power project. Check it out anytime on our website, koamnewsnow.com/power. Some young adults are considering moving back in with their parents because of high rents. For instance, rents in the Big Apple in New York City have increased by a whopping 32% since last year, according to Apartment List. That means those discount deals that were offered during the pandemic, they're out the window. And now some young adults are looking at moving back in with mama and daddy. If mom and dad is not an option, some young adults are moving to more affordable cities altogether. Federal judge has decided whether the Biden administration can lift Title 42. It's a COVID-era health order making deportations easier. Administration officials are bracing for an even bigger influx of migrants at the southern border if it is lifted. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports from Washington.
Border officials bracing for a decision on Title 42. The public health order enacted during the pandemic allowed the government to quickly turn away migrants in order to prevent the spread of COVID.
They're trying to do away with literally the last Trump policy that works in a time where the crisis is as high as it's ever been.
Last month, the CDC ruled Title 42 was no longer necessary, and senior administration officials added the directive was not an immigration policy or authority. But in late April, a federal judge temporarily blocked the administration from ending the restriction.
Rest assured, it's going to get horrific.
Even with Title 42 still in place, illegal border crossings are the highest they've ever been, with new data from the Biden administration showing more than 234,000 migrant encounters in April, the highest in the Department of Homeland Security's history. And the DHS is getting ready for an even bigger spike. Still, the administration insists the border isn't open, with or without Title 42.
We're a nation of immigrants, and we are also a nation of laws, and we enforce the law, and we will continue to do so.
However, even some Democrats wonder whether the administration is prepared.
I'm really concerned that the Biden administration right now, they do not have a plan in place to deal with this. And, hospitals and border communities they're really spread thin.
The fight over Title 42 threatening the latest coronavirus relief bill in Congress as well, with Republicans and some Democrats saying they won't vote for the funding unless it includes a reinstatement of Title 42. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
And earlier today, a federal judge blocked the Biden administration from ending Title 42. All right, still ahead, something you have to see and hear to believe. Visit California to meet a drumming prodigy. This is one of those stories where even though you don't know this little man, you're proud of him. 9-year-old boy in California is being called a drumming prodigy. He's been rocking out since he was in diapers. Fox's Christy Fajardo talks to the 4th grader about his passion for music, also his plans for the future.
9-year-old Mason Messiah Jackson has been twirling sticks and turning heads his whole young life.
I like doing this for fun.
Even before he could speak, the Porter Ranch 4th grader was jamming.
I started drumming when I was 7 or 8 months. My dad would put out pots and pans and small things, and I would bang on them.
He surprised even his parents.
I mean, obviously I was blown away because I didn't know that he could do that.
As Mason got bigger, so did his kit. Songs got harder and his repertoire got larger.
Rock or heavy metal. Probably. I mean, it's cool to play a few rap songs just because some of them have unique things in them.
Believe me, just watch. Mason already has fans at his elementary school. This is him playing at their talent show before the pandemic. But Dave Grohl, who saw him drumming as a little tyke, told his mom Mason will be playing stadiums.
He was pretty blown away. And he told Nina that, she should get business cards printed up for him right now because he's going to be famous one day.
Mason was too young to remember this encounter or that when Grohl showed him how to twirl sticks, he told him,
I've been doing that when I was here, though. You do it, huh?
He now counts the legend among his idols.
I would definitely pick Dave Grohl or Neil Peart.
That's why the boy who once played only by ear is learning to read music. His parents hope that will open more doors.
I always tell him, I said, I don't know where it comes from, but you've got this talent. I don't know how it got there, but it's up to you with what you decide to do with it and how far you go with it.
Now that he's getting older, new interests have taken hold.
If that doesn't work out, I will also be a game creator.
For now, you can expect more drum solos. But it's the encore that those who've watched him grow are waiting for. In Porter Ranch, Christy Fajardo, Fox 11 News.
Job, dude. One Texas Wrangler. Look at that, showing off a really, really big catch. Going to learn about the safe place this huge gator is headed to next. A gator wrangler catching an enormous 11-foot, 1,000-pound alligator in the Lone Star State of Texas. The monstrous animal was spotted in the town of LaPorte by a mother and son. A team of professionals called the Bayou City Gator Savers was on scene to safely, securely remove the alligator, moving it to a gator farm. One gator wrangler, Tim DeRaymond, says the animal isn't moving or bothering anyone. Just leave it alone. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to pet the thing, I'll tell you that. The wrangler says he has wrangled nearly 2,000 gators in his life, and this one was only the second largest. Look at that. Look at that face. Face only his mama would love. Good, though, that the gator is on a gator farm. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to take you over to this year's four-state farm show at Pitt State.
The U.S. throws more support behind Ukraine as heavy fighting continues in the east. I'm Trey Yingst in Kharkiv, Ukraine. I've got the details coming up.
Over 900. Four-state farm show kicked off today, runs through Sunday. KOM's Chris Warner has more about some changes made at the show and why it's so important to the area.
47 years. That's how long the Four-State Farm Show has been popping up in Pittsburgh. For 41 of those years, Lance Markley has been involved in managing the show and has seen things grow and change.
The farm show for many years was on a farm south of town. That enabled us to have some demonstrations and that type thing, and that was great. But as time evolved, it became time to be able to sell a lot of indoor booths.
As the farm show has changed, there's a key element that remains: its ability to educate anyone and everyone.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to know where their food comes from, which is agriculture, and they get a taste at the show of where it comes from, and they get to see a lot of ag products.
A number of changes took place this year, including adding more food trucks and shuttle services for parking. There's also some new booths adding to the experience.
We've got a nice array of urban living booths here that have grown a lot since last year. So when we say farm show, we've got something for the wife to, while you're looking at buying a piece of equipment or power washer or whatever, there's some nice shopping for them to do that's really been enhanced since last year.
In the 21st century, you can do almost anything online, but Owen says there's benefits to coming to the farm show in person.
One is you got that salesperson there, but you can deal with the form, fit, and function. You see something online, it's a picture of it, and you see it running in a perfect scenario of a video. But to be here, you got that technical salesperson that can talk about the pros and cons and show you how to adjust stuff.
Nathan Leslie is the location manager for Pittsburgh's Heritage Tractor. He says they value their online customers, but there's something about that in-person connection.
The people in our community and the people in our business and the relationships we make are very important, and that's what makes us successful.
In Pittsburgh, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
You can find more information about the Four-State Farm Show in this story on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, this is National Infrastructure Week, and Missouri American Water is highlighting some planned investments. $400 million in water and wastewater system upgrades across the state. In the Royal Heights part of Joplin specifically, crews are completing a project replacing 12,000 feet of pipe. MOAM says this is going to further enhance water system reliability, also fire protection.
The replacement of our high service pump station. And I describe that to people as kind of like a heart, in that the high service pump station is what distributes water from our water treatment plant to all of the homes and businesses in the area that we serve.
MOAM says statewide infrastructure projects are estimated to create 2,400 direct jobs involving project design and construction. Fox News correspondent Trey Yingst visited a Ukrainian village recently liberated by the Ukrainian army. A warning to viewers: this report contains images you may find disturbing.
Alexander Poberyahov opens the door of his stable, revealing the body of a Ukrainian soldier. When I saw him, I felt a lump in my throat, he says. I've got kids of the same age. The 59-year-old returned to the village of Vilhovka yesterday, only to find his home destroyed and many of his friends missing. Citizens on our street were forcefully deported, Alexander explains. There were cars with Russian license plates and people were forced in. Nearby, we meet Zoya Gavrilov. She hid underground until this area was liberated by Ukrainian troops. I didn't see it because I was in the basement, she starts to say.
You can hear some of that artillery still coming in. It must be difficult to hear that all the time. In the distance, Russian troops are about 10 miles from this location. They've been pushed back by the Ukrainians, but still, this area remains part of the battlefield.
Down the street at a school, the body of a Russian soldier lays face up in the grass. This building was used as a headquarters for the Russians before being retaken by the Ukrainian army.
You can see the level of destruction at this school. Russian forces were here for weeks as they attempted to take Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv. Ukrainian forces were able to push them back, but the destruction left behind is significant. You can see here almost nothing left.
Despite fierce battles for Kharkiv, the city remains in Ukrainian hands, and the Ukrainian army remains in high spirits. Everything is amazing. Everybody is happy. Everybody welcomes us. One soldier explains, everybody is happy we liberated them.
On a normal day, it would take about 30 minutes to drive from Kharkiv to Russia. It gives you a sense of just how close the enemy is for those Ukrainian troops. In Kharkiv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
That a bit later. Technology and art, a new exhibit letting visitors unlock new worlds with their cell phones.
Looking to
Well, we ended up right back into the 80s, 4 highs for us today. Temperatures have been fairly warm over the past couple of weeks, almost hot last week. And now we're going to hit a week stretch that actually cools down a little bit. And this weekend we're starting due to a cold front that has already shifted through. You can see the front, Delaware County, McDonald, Newton, up into Lawrence County. Everybody else, we've got northerly winds dropping into the 60s and 70s, but still near 80 along and south of that front. You can see the front just kind of barreling through over the past several hours. It's going to put the brakes on, kind of stall out in our southern counties, so that's where the main focus for heavier or stronger thunderstorms will be for us tonight near that front. 75, humidity, 76%, thunderstorms blossoming over the past couple hours. You can really see them picking up. Now, everybody along and north of that front, just good old spring thunderstorms. May get a few stronger ones. Can't rule out a low-grade severe, but any big-time severe thunderstorms will mainly stay south of the region. We do need to keep our eyes on, over the next couple hours, Delaware County, McDonald, Benton, and Berry County, as you guys are sitting right along that front. But you can see these scattered thunderstorms. These will produce some thunder, some lightning, some heavy amounts of rain, just kind of scattered everywhere from Nevada, Fort Scott, Pleasanton, all the way back toward Yates Center. When you track farther south, you can see continuing to develop Lebec County over toward Coffeyville. And then along the front, now we're starting to get some thunderstorms popping up, so we'll have to see what those guys do over the next couple hours. But again, the bigger storms kind of stay in east central parts of Oklahoma. Let's go through time. You can see them really blossom along the front. So we'll watch this batch next couple hours. Everybody else, just kind of these popcorn showers and thunderstorms that we have out there right now, but could produce some heavy amounts of rain. Periods of showers, thunderstorms through the overnight hours, increasing again by dawn, some heavier storms, and then most of this will push out mid-morning, and then it kind of flares up again as we head into the afternoon. So if you want to get outside, do some yard work or whatever, do it on Sunday. Tomorrow's not going to be the best of days. 64 by noon. We actually drop into the 50s with north winds at 10 to 20 as we go through the afternoon. We do start to clear out. So if you have any evening plans tomorrow, we will dry out. It may take a little bit, but we'll dry out. We'll clear out tomorrow night. Kind of chilly, down to about 42 to 45 for an overnight low. Sunday looks great. We warm up, high temps into the mid-60s. Then our next storm system rolls in. All right, rainfall amounts, heaviest closer to the front where 1 to 2 inches could fall. Then I think everybody else got in that quarter to half an inch range. 64 tomorrow, 64 Sunday, 66 Monday. We stay in the 60s most of next week. More thunderstorms from Monday through Thursday. And then we start to warm up with a severe threat for Memorial Weekend.
Man, that is a cool night, Saturday night, though.
Yeah, kind of chilly.
It is. Doug, thank you. Coming up in sports, the Carl Junction girls soccer team preparing to face Branson tomorrow for a district title. Plus, Pitt State track and field standout aiming to finish his career with a national title. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Crowder College baseball team is playing in the South Central District Tournament this week in Louisiana. It's a 3-team double elimination tournament with the winner moving on to the Junior College World Series. The Crowder already won their first game today, beating Eastern Oklahoma 6-4. In their second game of the day, the Rough Riders facing Delgado, trying to clinch a spot in the district championship game. That one actually still going, but Crowder currently trails at 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Pittsburg State and Missouri Southern are less than a week away from competing at the Division II Outdoor Track and Field Championships in Allendale, Michigan. Now, Southern has 16 athletes qualified for nationals, while Pittsburg State is taking 29 to Michigan. On the men's side, for Pitt State's Lewis Rollins, this will be his final meet in a Pitt State uniform. He's been at PSU since 2015, but he's only now finishing his eligibility after sitting out time with injuries and the COVID year. He's a multiple-time All-American and MIAA champion. He's been a big part of making Pittsburg State one of the best programs in the nation.
He's the reason our men are where they are, just because of his leadership, exactly like you said. You cannot replicate what he does for this program, and you cannot replace it. He is a phenomenal person, phenomenal young man, and outstanding leader, and his accolades should prove themselves. So what he means for this program is everything. He is just an outstanding person, and he's going to be sorely missed.
It's been a long time coming for me here at Pitt State, so this one means a lot, and just finishing it on top is the plan for us as a team and for me as an individual as well.
The Carl Junction girls soccer team will play for a district title at home tomorrow afternoon. Our own Danny Terzer catches up with the Bulldogs today ahead of their matchup in the championship with Branson.
As the Carl Junction Bulldogs head into the district championship game, a sour memory comes to mind.
Last season was really hard for us. It was a big game, and we didn't win it, and I think that kind of impacted us and made us want it even more. We have more passion this year.
Last year, Carl Junction fell to Webb City in the district championship game in penalty kicks. But this year, they say they're both a stronger group and more motivated than ever.
We noticed how the other team was celebrating, how they felt, and we tried to put that in the memory bank.
A lot has changed since last season.
The experience that we're getting and putting us in those situations last year, this year we're putting the same situations and we're putting the ball in the back of net, and that's what's getting us wins.
This year I just think our main focus is being together as a team and winning as a team instead of individually.
CJ will play Branson at home in the championship game on Saturday. The Bulldogs beat the Pirates 3-1 just last week.
I think now they're starting to believe that they're a good team. I think they're starting to believe that they can win and they're a quality team top to bottom, and then we can compete with some of the better teams in the state. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just the confidence that our team is gaining over this last couple weeks.
It's the third straight district championship appearance for the Bulldogs. The last time they won it was in 2019 when the current seniors were freshmen.
I just remember being so excited and just like jumping up with my teammates in the air. I remember we just passed the plaque around and all took pictures with it, and we were just so proud. The motivation is it's my senior year, so I think that we need to finish how we started, and it's just I want to get this team as far as we can go.
In Carl Junction, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Carl Junction and Branson will hit the field at noon tomorrow for the district championship. We'll have highlights and post-game reaction right here tomorrow night at 9. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Technology and art coming together in the Big Apple as a critically acclaimed artist takes influence from NFTs to transform how physical and digital masterpieces are understood. Fox News' Ted Linder has a special look.
Usually in art galleries, phones are discouraged. But for a new exhibit from one of the world's most renowned pop artists, phones open new worlds.
Oh.
These are the works of Japanese artist Takashi Murakami, now on display in New York City's Gagosian Gallery. Visitors can use special Snapchat filters to unlock virtual reality experiences that help bring the paintings to life. Many of the brightly colored avatars seen gracing the walls and the gleaming figurines on the gallery floor are physical pieces modeled after the same digital works Murakami created as NFTs in the metaverse.
People still do not understand NFTs.
NFT stands for non-fungible token. They're essentially digital property that people can own and collect. And for Murakami, his exhibit is a tribute to the blending of online and tangible art.
I wanted to express how I digested the unceasing history of art created by human beings.
These fish paintings, for example, are inspired by ancient Chinese vases valued at tens of millions of dollars. Like NFTs, Murakami says no one thought the vases would one day hold such value.
When they were created, nameless artisans drew the paintings on those vases. But through the history, it all became valuable. And when I saw them, they moved me and motivated me to paint them.
The works are open to the public until June 25th. If you can't make it to the Big Apple, you can tour the exhibition virtually by visiting Gagosian.com or by using a VR headset. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
A new Ocean's 11 film in the works. Hollywood Nation coming your way. Natasha Bedingfield releases a new version of one of her hit songs. Margot Robbie lining up her next gig and more. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has the latest from the Hollywood Nation.
Barry keeps his day job. Robbie books her next gig, and Bedingfield shares in the Hollywood Nation. Natasha Bedingfield has dropped a special treat for her fans before hitting the road to host and perform on the Masked Singer National Tour, kicking off May 28th. The Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter released a new acoustic version of her classic hit, Unwritten.
As much as my song has been played, and as many times that I've played it live, I never actually recorded in a studio like a proper version, Natasha's version. So I'm excited.
A new Ocean's 11 film is in the works with Margot Robbie. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the actress will star and produce in a new installment of the Heist franchise, which is still in early development. It will be an original movie set in Europe in the 1960s.
I need a purpose.
And HBO is keeping their popular hitman a little longer. The network has renewed its Emmy-winning dark comedy series Barry for a 4th season. Bill Hader plays a contract killer turned actor, desperately trying to leave his violent past behind to pursue his passion in acting. The season 3 finale airs June 12th.
You look good. So do you.
Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with a video of a mink playing with some bubbles at the San Antonio Zoo. Have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.